Currently, gold is up $15, silver up 30 cents, and we got the news that the China trade deal now has no deadline. It's Tuesday, December 3rd, 2019. Markets down. We got word from the president today that now there is no deadline with the China trade deal, and that spooked the markets. And I believe this is just a preview of things to come as we head into 2020. What we do know is what is going to happen December 15th. More than likely, I'm going to say 99%, that we will implement another round of tariffs on Chinese products December 15th, and more than likely this is going to shock the markets. The markets have already priced in the prospect of a trade deal that has yet to be signed. There will be no trade deal signed. There will be no phase one signed in 2019. I've said that from day one. Most of you have said the same thing. There will be no deal in 2019. So as there will be no deal, we will have no choice but to implement another round of tariffs on Chinese goods. And this is going to, I believe, have a real effect on these markets. December 15th, will be on a Sunday, so expect to see a crazy Monday if these tariffs go into effect, and I believe more than likely they are going to. Again, I don't see a deal getting done in 2019, and now we're going to have to wait to 2020 to even get to a phase one, which, again, will that even happen? And think about how long this has gone on for over 2 years. And there's a phase two, which gets even more critical, more in-depth, more specific, and it deals with intellectual property, which China does not want to give up. So how long would it take to even get a phase two deal? This is where the real critical stuff lies. Not going to happen. I want to change gears here. There was an article today that I read, and they took a survey on the amount of TV that the average person watches. Now, this survey was done in the UK, but I think it's going to reflect pretty close to what's happening here in America. This was done by studyfinds.org. It was very interesting. When we talk about people today who walk around like zombies, who are absolutely brainwashed, they're comatose, they can't think for themselves. Listen to these numbers. And the numbers are even probably higher here in America. People watch 3.5 hours of television a day. 6 in 10 adults admit that they would be lost without the TV. And think how many young adults and children are just put in front of a computer or a television. They're growing up by the television or by the iPad or by the computer. The TV viewer will watch 78,705 hours of programming, movies, and sports in a lifetime. 1,248 hours a year. Just imagine the influence that that little box or that little computer has on the average soft-minded human being. You know, their brains are just jello. This is why people are so easily manipulated. They cannot think for themselves. They cannot make a decision. They cannot be independent, free-thinking individuals. They are dependent individuals on a box, watching that media daily, watching the influence of Hollywood, the influence of sports. These are the entities that now control the average soft-minded, dumbed down American. They're zombies, they're the masses, they're the herd. They are the easily controlled. Don't be one of these people. Be a free-thinking, open-minded individual who can rationalize and come to their own decisions, their own conclusions. Don't rely on the TV. Don't rely on the media. Yes, we all watch TV. We watch movies. I don't go to movies. I will never pay for one, but I don't hold that against anybody. But you have to always take into account that these entities, whether it's the media or it's the movies produced by Hollywood, influenced by China, they're going to have an influence on your children's life. They're going to have some influence on you. Just remember, there's always some kind of hidden message now with the media or Hollywood. So be cautious of where you're spending not just your money, but your time, your intellectual time. Be cautious of where you're spending it, because a lot of these entities have a real agenda, and they are influencing soft-minded people here in America. And again, another reason why we have such a dumbed down, comatose population here in America, because they cannot think for themselves. They need somebody wearing a suit in the media to tell them how to vote, how to think, and what to do. There was a great article today on Zero Hedge, and it was done by Michael Snyder, who I have a lot of respect for, very bright guy. And it talks about the corporate debt bomb that we are sitting on currently. And I'm going to paraphrase through this article. If you get a chance, read this article, go to Zero Hedge, check it out. And remember, don't believe me. Don't believe anybody. Make sure you're doing your own due diligence and doing your own research so that you are a free, open-minded, independent, free-thinking human. We are facing a corporate debt bomb that is far greater than the one we faced in 2008. No doubt about that. Thanks to exceeding low interest rates over the last decade, U.S. corporations have been able to go on the greatest corporate debt binge in history. Companies on our stock exchanges have accumulated almost $10 trillion of debt. This is equivalent to approximately 47% of U.S. GDP. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a corporate debt crisis of a magnitude that America has never seen before, and there's going to be huge consequences to this. Corporate debt is up 52% since 2008, and this bubble is still growing. And again, the masses are watching their cartoons, they're watching their media, and they have no idea of the danger that is coming up upon them, upon their families. Nobody is going to escape what is coming. 10 trillion is a conservative number. When you add the debt of small, medium-sized enterprises, family businesses, and other businesses not listed on the stock exchanges, it's now $15.5 trillion of debt. That equals 74% of GDP. So while corporate debt continues to balloon, the federal debt bubble is ballooning at an alarming rate. We've actually added another $1.3 trillion of debt this Thanksgiving. Just from last Thanksgiving to this Thanksgiving, we've added $1.3 trillion of debt. So within a year, another $1.3 trillion of debt that you and I are on the hook for. Bloomberg, when you add up all forms of debt in the world, the grand total is rising past $250 trillion. This global debt bubble is going to cause so much damage across the world, and everybody is going to be affected because all of the banks, all of the financial institutions are all connected. So if one country blows up, it's going to blow up a vast majority of the other countries, because we're all intertwined. We have to ask ourselves, anybody that can think rationally has to look at the facts, has to look at the numbers, has to look around their environment and say, is this road that we're on positive? Or are we heading into a meltdown? Are we heading into a Mad Max scenario? People I know out there who are very close-minded, who cannot think for themselves, don't believe that we can have a meltdown. They thought that 2008 was just a 1 in a million, never going to happen again. A Mad Max scenario could never happen. Things that happen in South America, Latin America, things that are happening over in Hong Kong, things that are happening over in Europe, those things can't, Middle East, those things can't happen here in America because we're America. So we can't have an economic collapse. We can't have a dollar collapse. Our power can't go out. We can't have some people in government who are attempting to do some bad things. That just doesn't happen here. That happens to other countries. The question now is, how long till we get there? And how long will we be there? There was a good article that I read this morning on Market Watch, and it's titled, "This is how hard it is for average earners to live comfortably in America." And it broke it down on how much money you have to make and how many hours you would have to work to make that money to live comfortably in these states. And I just picked out a few. Washington, D.C., to live comfortably, you need to make $78,310 a year, and that equates to 44 hours a week. California, you need to make $66,754 a year. That equals 63 hours a week. New York, 64,500 at 57 hours a week at work. Oregon, you need to make 65,400 to live comfortably, and that equates to you working 66 hours a week in order to do that. So, so many people now have to work so many hours, they can't even enjoy the comforts of life. There's not a single state in the country where an average worker can enjoy a comfortable living on 40 hours of less of work per week. And this is why so many people are working side hustles. This is why so many people have multiple jobs. This is why so many people are working for Lyft and Uber, because they cannot make it on one job. They can't make it on a 40-hour work week, so they have to go work an extra 10 hours or 15 hours for Lyft or Uber or whatever they're doing for their side hustle. Clearly, the vast majority of wage earners are just getting by, no doubt. And I've said this many times in the past. At least in my area, I can drive by and see 4, 5, 6 cars in a driveway. And I've been through many areas where there's so many cars in the driveway, apartment complexes in Orange County where you cannot even park within the vicinity on the street because there's so many cars, because you have multiple people living in apartments. You know, as I watch these business shows, the past couple days, especially, you know, with all the holiday propaganda going on, and they talk about the health of the average U.S. consumer. They're healthy, they're strong, they're spending, they're making higher wages now. But what they don't ever tell you is the cost of living, the cost of necessities, the cost of those Christmas presents. Everything is going up. So while the average worker's wages might go up 2%, your cost of living is going up 10% every year. So think about that. And they never want to tell you that. All we do is continue to get the same propaganda that everything is okay. And this should be a warning to all of you. When the government and the media continue to tell you everything is okay, you better be preparing for a very bad day. One thing I've noticed the last couple days on the business shows is they're talking a lot about these record-breaking internet sales, these cyber sales, but they're not talking about what happened with the retail brick and mortar stores, how they were decimated. And so, you know, again, internet sales are going to make up for only so much, but how much did we lose in sales in regards to the brick and mortar retail sales? And as I continue to see the brick and mortar stores closing down, we're going to have ghost towns of shopping centers, shopping plazas, shopping malls, the mom and pop retailers here and there. I mean, what are we going to do with all of these vacant buildings, all this vacant real estate? What kind of repercussions will all these vacant buildings, these ghost towns of shopping malls and centers and plazas, what kind of repercussions are they going to have on your cities? What kind of repercussions will they have with the local economies? A lot of vacant commercial and retail real estate sitting, and much more coming. So as most of the retailers got clobbered over Black Friday, one of the retailers didn't. And this would be your local gun stores. FBI says Black Friday background numbers are second largest single day in program history. So it was the second highest amount of background checks this past Black Friday. So people are thinking about security. Interesting numbers here. More than 200,000 background checks took place on Black Friday. That's an 11% increase from last year. The total number was 202,465 checks on Friday. The single day record was 203,086, and that was in 2017. We are approaching the 1-year record of 27.5 million in 2016. So we're getting very close to that number. What does all of this tell us? It tells us that people have some serious concerns, especially about the direction of this country. Millions of people are awake. They are aware. They're just like you. They know what's going on. And some people are waking up. I believe more people are actually waking up than falling asleep. They're seeing concerns. They're seeing a trend that there is political uncertainty coming, social uncertainty coming, and financial uncertainty coming in 2020. And so obviously, when we look at the numbers, way up. And again, because people are getting worried about what is coming. And the only thing you can do is prepare, and prepare the best that you can. If you choose to not prepare, then you're probably more than likely going to land up to be a victim of what is coming. And I'm not saying that the world's going to implode in 2020. Not at all. I don't think the world's coming to an end. But I see all types of uncertainty, unbalance, unrest, and you have a choice. You can be a prepared individual and have the ability to protect your family, protect yourself, protect your assets. And you have the other choice to not protect yourself or your family or your assets. You have the choice to be a victim. And so I think right now is the time that we protect ourselves physically, protect ourselves financially, protect ourselves spiritually, because I do see, in my humble opinion, very uncertain times coming in 2020. And you look today how fast the market can just dip, how fast gold and silver can move right up. And this is nothing. But these are, little warning signs that tomorrow, you don't know what tomorrow brings. You don't know what you're going to wake up to. You could wake up to gold being up $150. You could wake up to silver being up $30. That's how quick things can happen. Now, I know that there's very small-minded people out there that can't think for themselves, who don't want to believe in reality, who are scared, who aren't independent, free-thinking people, don't want to have the ability to protect themselves, mentally, physically, spiritually, or financially. I know most of you do. And look, hey, for the people out there that choose not to protect themselves mentally, physically, spiritually, or financially, hey, God bless you. That's your choice. That's your right. But I can think for myself. I see the trend that is coming. I see the writing on the wall. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to look at the numbers to see that we are in a deep recession right now, and that this country is heading into a depression. And the time to prepare is right now, because when this whole thing collapses, when these debt bombs explode, when these Ponzi schemes collapse, when the whole house of cards comes falling down, there's no time to prepare. It's over. You are either prepared or you're not. Remember, there's two types of people, the prepared and the unprepared. If you think when everything collapses, you're going to go out and buy gold and silver, forget about it. There will be none available. And we don't even know if you're going to be even able to use dollar bills to purchase them. Are you really going to give up real hard, tangible assets, real money like gold and silver for a paper fiat currency that's losing value? Probably not. So there may be no price in fiat currency to even buy gold and silver. Do you think you're going to go down to your local store and buy a firearm to protect yourself at that point? They'll all be gone. The doors will be locked. Everything will be gone, off the shelves, done. You are on your own. This is no time to procrastinate. This is the time to be proactive. While the assets are available, you can buy them. You can buy them cheap. While food and water is available, you can buy them. While you can buy security, you can buy it. So take advantage that you're not having to wait in a line, that you're not having to pay an exuberant amount of money for these assets right now. These assets, all of them across the board, whether it's security, food, water, gold, silver, gear, whatever, it's all dirt cheap when you look at it. When you look at it right now, it's dirt cheap. Look at what this will cost. All these assets are going to cost when this whole thing collapses. You will not put a price on any of these assets because you're going to need every one of these assets to survive. Have a great week. Make sure that we are praying for this country. We are not just in a financial war here or a trade war with China. It's not all about financial. We are in a spiritual war of good versus evil here in America. And I think there is a group of people that have already picked a side and they're preparing because they see not what is just coming. They're seeing right now what's happening. While so many people are blinded and cannot see right in front of them what is happening to their country. This economy is on the verge of collapse. They're having to pump in $100 billion every morning into these financial institutions to keep them propped up. Yet people believe everything is okay. You believe that a country that's $23 trillion in debt is okay. A country that just added another $1.3 trillion of debt from last Thanksgiving to this Thanksgiving, indebting all of us. This money has to be paid back, but it never will. So the system is going to implode. It's the only way it can be fixed. But there is going to be a lot of pain felt during this period. When this collapse occurs, it's not going to just be a collapse and it's not just going to last a day or two, a month or two. It could last for multiple years. There's going to be a lot of pain and suffering over that time. Do what you can right now to prepare for it, okay? I mean, nobody is going to escape what's coming. The only thing you can do is prepare the best that you can so that you have the best chance to survive it physically, spiritually, and financially. So get prepared. Keep walking close to God. Pray for this country. God bless every one of you. Thanks for watching. And please share this video with everyone you know. Put it all over social media. Share this video. We still need to be waking people up, our friends, our family, our church members. Even though most people aren't going to listen, let me tell you, a lot of people watching these videos, reading your comments, have woken up. God bless every one of you. God bless America.